It has been 4 months since the passing of our dear Gila, and unquestionably the pain only becomes more acute. We find ourselves every single day asking, how exactly is one supposed to deal with this pain? How exactly is one supposed to, or if at all, come to terms with such a loss? Recently, I am studying Masechet Zvachim. Masechet Zvachim deals with the various sacrifices that are offered in the Beit HaMikdash, Haba Aleinu Letova. And therefore, most of the concepts in the Masechet, in this tractate, are esoteric, difficult to deal with or to relate to. And yet I came across an interesting sugya, a portion in the Gemara. I want to share with you 2 thoughts this week about them. One of them is a discussion with regards to various sacrifices that are offered at one time. If you have all of these various types of sacrifices, a korban chatat, asham, olah, tamid, and so on and so forth, which one takes precedence over the other? And the Gemara, the Talmud, says a concept that we're all familiar with, tadir v'she'eno tadir, tadir kodem. That korban, that sacrifice that is more frequent or consistently offered, takes precedence over the other. The Talmud describes or discusses where this concept originates. And one of the ideas that it brings down is the issue of Kiddush. When we say Kiddush on Shabbat or Yom Tov, there are 2 brachot, 2 blessings that are recited. One is the bracha of Borei Pri Hagafen, and the second is the Birkat Hayom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, Umekadesh Yisrael v'Hazmanim v'Yom HaZikaron, designation of that specific day. Which bracha should be first? Which bracha should be recited first? And the Talmud, obviously, as we all know, paskins like Beit Hillel, that we say Borei Pri Hagafen first, and afterwards we recite the Birkat Hayom, the bracha on the specific day. The Gemara in Zvachim cites the svara, the understanding of tadir v'she'eno tadir, tadir kodem. After all, the Borei Pri Hagafen is more consistent, is frequently found. We can recite it even during the week, on a regular day when we drink grape juice or wine. And for that reason, it is recited first, prior to the recital of the bracha on the day, which is only recited on the day itself, Yom Tov, Rosh Hashanah, whatever it might be. But the Talmud in Brachot offers another understanding, another insight, why there is this premise of a machloket, an argument between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel, which bracha, which blessing should be recited first. According to Beit Shammai, Hayom Kodem, we make the blessing on the day first. Shehayom gorem layayin sheyavo. For the day causes the blessing of the wine to be recited. In other words, without the day being sanctified or being a holy day in its essence, we would have no necessity to recite the Borei Pri Hagafen, the blessing on the wine. And so the day is recited first. Kvar Kidesh Hayom, the day is sanctified first. We bring in Yom Tov or Shabbat, and then Adayin Yayin Loba. And only then do we make the bracha Borei Pri Hagafen. But Beit Hillel says as follows: wine, Borei Pri Hagafen, takes precedence. Shehayayin gorem lekdusha shete'amer. We say the bracha on wine first because it is the wine that initiates or allots us the opportunity to pronounce the sanctity of the day. The wine is the conduit, the impetus, which we can use in order to declare that today, Yom Tov, Shabbat, is indeed a holy day. And what I'd like to suggest is whether you look at it from the perspective of Beit Shammai or Beit Hillel, they might argue in practicality, but in terms of understanding, they both agree. Ultimately, what we're looking for is a means of ushering in sanctity. Does the sanctity reveal itself greater in lavo, in how it arrives or comes, or the fact that it is there the day? Or does sanctity reveal itself greater in terms of what is uttered, what is pronounced, what is said, i.e. the bracha on the wine? But either way, we are looking for means of influencing this world by allowing the kedusha, the sanctity, to continue to resonate long after we make the proclamation of that bracha, of that blessing. And I imagine that this is really also the concept of what is described in Kiddush Hashem. When we speak about Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying God's name in this world, what we're longing to do is to declare, pronounce the sanctity of Hashem in this world, but to allow that proclamation to continue to resonate with sanctity, in this world long after that proclamation, that declaration. When a person behaves in a certain way, and they sanctify God's name through their behavior, when others see them, and as a result make that an example in their own lives, that kedusha, that sanctity, continues to exist and continues to grow and to promulgate in this world long after the action or the pronouncement is declared. Gila was a pure soul. She was someone who longed to be close to Hashem, and we believe that she was indeed very close to Hashem. She initiated in this world kedusha, sanctity. Perhaps it wasn't revealed, perhaps it wasn't as appreciated while she was alive, but after that declaration, after that pronouncement, after that day came of her demise, when we lost her physically, she was able to continue to reveal to us, as she does to this day, the sanctity of Hashem, both the way she lived and even long after she is no longer with us. I have a student of mine from 27 years ago who's in touch with me to this day, who was not necessarily an observant Jew. And yet he called me last week and told me that since Gila passed on, and the stories that he hears about her, and the thoughts that I have reflected with him, he decided to take more of a religiously observant lifestyle upon himself. A friend of mine, a close friend of mine, called me the other day and told me that he always has a difficulty emoting or revealing his emotions or dealing with emotions with other people around him. And when he hears the stories about Gila, and when he hears about the way that she behaved and what was important to her in her life, he learns to emote. It's the only time, he said to me, that he cries. And therefore, as a result of that, he has learned to gain perspective in how to deal with his own emotions. People who write to us consistently and tell us how they have learned through the actions of Gila, through her sensitivity and how she was in her life, and how they have to be after her death. How much more they are trying to be more sensitive to those around them as well, as a result of hearing how Gila would behave in her life. And perhaps this is why, or what we're longing to do at the beginning of Seder Pesach, we all start the song Kadesh or Chatz, Kadesh, Kiddush. We all know that we start the Seder halachically because we're trying to declare the day being a holy day. But perhaps what we're really saying at the Seder Pesach is Kadesh. Let's start the evening by reflecting on everything we do this evening, everything we do, nay, not only tonight, but for the rest of our lives, should be Kadesh, should resonate with Kedusha long after the Seder process is gone. We are looking for means of doing or fulfilling a Kiddush Hashem through or vis-a-vis the experiential actions of the Seder, but also ultimately for our lives long after the Seder process is completed. And therefore, what we're looking to do by declaring Kadesh is we are saying that this process of the Seder should not be momentary, but should be momentous. Gila, when we think about her, how I long to hold her, how I long to kiss her, how I long to talk with her, How I long to laugh with her once again. But I know that I cannot. But I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Gila, for at least giving me a chance, a glimpse, to be as close to you as we can. We physically cannot, and yet you have somehow fulfilled a kiddush, Kadesh Shem Shamayim, a kiddush Hashem, through the people that you have touched, through the lives that you have changed, even after your death. Nekadesh et shimchech ba'olam. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, the name of God in this world. V'nekadesh et shmech ba'olam. And we sanctify your name, Gila, in this world, through the means and the themes that you have shared with us, and through the zchut, the merit, that we have been privileged to learn from them. We connect with you still by Kiddush Hashem, whether it be Tadir v'she'enu Tadir, whether it be frequent, or whether it be Ad she'kidesh hayom l'kedusha she'te'amer, by pronouncing and declaring your greatness, the Gila way. Shavua Tov.